welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast with your host Joseph. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you are on our new YouTube page, and also please like, subscribe, share my page if you can, if you want to. I'd appreciate if you get a 5 star. But if I deserve a 3, give me a 3, right? But yeah, today's podcast is just going to be about the NFL. We're I think a week away, 10 days away. We got next week. We got about 15 days away from kickoff for NFL. College football kicks off this week, thankfully, so we get some type of competitive football. Watching preseason football, you get to, that's mainly for the real fans and fans who like to actually scope out games and scope out players. Like I was watching the Bills and the Broncos game on Saturday, and that game overall was just bad football. Good. I saw good football from the Bills, but from the Broncos, there wasn't anything that I took from that game that I would say like, oh wow, yeah, they deserve to be in the NFL. So that being said, talking about the NFL divisions this week, and kind of going over those. I've given you guys my Super Bowl predictions with the Vikings and the Chargers. Hoping to see if that will come to true. Trying to find a place where I can put that in a bet. So if you know any places, please drop them in the comments. Because I don't know a place where I could put that exact matchup in a bet. Because that even put 10,000 that probably win me $1,000. That's a crazy Super Bowl to happen, you know. So I don't know what the odds are for that Super Bowl, but I think it would happen. I think it has a chance of happening. Obviously, NFL nothing is guaranteed. But last year, like I said before, we saw the Bengals in the Super Bowl, so nothing's guaranteed. But with that being said, we're gonna talk about the NFL divisions. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen to figure out that way you guys can look at what I'm looking at. One participant can share at a time. What is this talking about? Zoom. All right, so perfect. We got Safari up, and pretty much here we are. Yeah, so this is what I'm seeing right here. And before we even talk about that, let's take a look at last year, and kind of figuring out who won which league, and whatnot. So pretty much, we have last year we had the what is going on? Last year, regular season, Bills won last year. So crazy story about this division. I put a bet in last year, like week 4, that the Patriots would win the division. They were like +5. It was like a +800, 900. Put $100 down. No, I put $200 down. And then the last game of the season, or basically the week prior, the Bills and the Patriots had played, or a couple of weeks prior to the end of the season, I put a bet on the Bills to beat the Patriots, and I won my money back. So just a quick lesson on how to hedge. If you want to hedge out your bets, you'll always get a chance to hedge out your bets during the season, especially for the future bets. But yeah, last year the Bills won the division by a game. Bengals won that division, AFC North. And then the Titans won the AFC South easily. Titans dominated this division. I don't think they lost a division game. Oh, yeah, they did. They lost one division game. And then AFC West, we have the Chiefs won it. And then yeah. And then for the NFC, we have the Cowboys. You guys already know my pick for this year's division winner. Cowboys went 6-0, only team to go undefeated in the divisions. Packers won the NFC North. Buccaneers won the NFC South, and then Rams won the NFC West. So pretty much, with that being said, we got lots to talk about, to dive into, to kind of figure out which divisions are going to win. Because just from the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of like heavy favorites. Bills to name one. I think Titans and Colts are heavy favorites to kind of figure out whoever's going to win that division. Cowboys, Eagles kind of favorites. Packers, Vikings. So we got some divisions with heavy favorites. And trying to give you guys the best opportunity to see where I'm seeing. But pretty much, let's start from here, right? The Bills and the Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. So start with the Bills. So obviously the Bills are going to win the division, right? That's just anyone who has a brain can say that and can kind of figure that that's going to happen. However, The Dolphins and the Patriots, I think, will be some contenders. Obviously, the Patriots just because of Bill Belichick. You know how he is, right? He's a contending coach who's always in the need, to win games, right? But I think the Dolphins are going to be the bigger scare to the Bills. The Bills have probably the best offense in the league. Just watching them in the training in training camp preseason, and coming off of last year, they have a lot of momentum. They have a big why. A lot of times teams struggle to find their why to win games. They have a big why. They literally lost last second in the playoffs last year. And they were the reason why the all overtime rules have changed. You got the Bills are going to win this division, in my opinion. But the Dolphins are a sleeper team to win this division. Now, I think they're a team that could potentially make the playoffs, just depending on how Tua plays. I think everybody knows how the Dolphins secondary is with Xavier Howard in the way. But if Tua is able to kind of have a season where he throws 25, 27 touchdowns and, minimum turnovers from a fumble and interception standpoint, I think they have a chance to, kind of win double-digit games. They have Tyreek Hill, obviously. They have Waddle. They have Gesicki. Their run game is strong with Mostert, Edmonds. They have a stronger offensive line than last year. Still one of their weakest points of their offense, which is a concerning point. But if Mike McDaniel is going to do what he's shown in the preseason, which is a lot of quick game, a lot of one read plays, then I think that the Dolphins have a chance to compete and win. And I think they have a couple easy games coming up in to open up the season. See if they can get some easy wins. To start off either 3-1, 2-2, even hopefully 4-0. But I mean, if you tell me to put my money on it, you got a gun to my head. I'm choosing the Bills. And then but let's go to the AFC North. So the AFC North, we got the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, right? So this is a division where last year it was anyone's division. It wasn't until about week 14, 15, and even the last week of the season where we knew that the Bengals were winning. So this is anybody's division, and has been this way for a while now, where you don't know who's going to win it. It used to be Steelers dominated the division. Now you don't really understand who's going to win this division. I think each team has a way to win it. I think we're going to see a lot of like 3-3, 4-2 divisional. I think I could easily see the Ravens winning the division, just because they have the best player on any of the teams. Lamar Jackson's the best player on in this division by far. That's my opinion. You can kind of say yes or no if you want, but the Ravens are the best team in this division by far. The best quarterback and the best player in the division by far. Now, in terms of the best surrounding team, it kind of it begs to differ like what you're looking for, right? The Steelers, I would say between the Steelers and the Browns, they would have the best defense, right? Between the two teams of those. Best structure, I would say the Steelers and the Ravens. Best system in place, like offensive play calling system, you got to choose the Bengals and the Ravens. So when you're comparing those things, the number one thing that pops out are the Ravens. The Ravens are in every category: culture, structure, system. I mean, you name it, defense. They're in that. They have a good innate base of where they represent themselves at. So that's the reason why I would choose the Ravens to win the division. I like their team a lot. I think their team is very explosive. I think Lamar Jackson continues what he has done in the past years on the ground. And I think that Lamar Jackson is ready to kind of show people that, hey, I can throw the ball as well as run it. So I think we're going to see a big season from Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that he'll be an MVP this year because Jalen Hurts already has my money, but I would say that Lamar Jackson is in a prove it year. Not necessarily, to make money, because I think he's going to make money regardless. But I think he wants to prove to himself that he can be a franchise, quarterback. If he's able to do that, I think the Ravens are going to be able to win the division. Now, with that being said, I do think that the Bengals have a chance to win it. But I do think there's a lot of feeling pumping up when it comes to the Bengals. And I think we get a letdown year for them. Not as explosive as it was last year, not as easy as it was for Jamar Chase last year. I see a big, not really a letdown because Jamar Chase, he did so well last year where, anything that he does, unless it's 2,000 receiving yards, is a short. And Justin Jefferson was able to do that. He was able to get, I think, 1,800 yards last year, receiving yards last year. So, I mean, if he's able to have that season, then I think they have that continued success. But if he's not, then I think that they take a step back. But that's not to say that Jamar Chase is not a bad, is overrated or he's not a top 10, top 5 receiver. He is in that category. It's just he's not going to be as productive as he was last year. That's just my opinion. I think they're not as productive on third downs as they were last year. I think they have a lot of teams that are having them marked on their calendar. There's just a lot of competition going on. And I don't think that they're ready for it. But yeah, I mean, the Browns, we already know what happened with the Browns with Deshaun Watson. Not knowing who the quarterback is, kind of hard to put money on them. To try to figure out if they even, will be competitive this year. So if they're 7-6, 6-6 when when Deshaun Watson comes back, potentially they could win a division because I think the division race will be close. But I do see the Ravens winning at least 11, 12 games this year. Next one is going to be the AFC South. We got Houston Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. So I think, in my opinion, this is probably the easiest division win that the Colts will have. And I think the Colts have an opportunity to do something that not a lot of teams can say they do. Have a division where it's easy, where you get 5-6 easy wins. And they have the potential to do that because they literally have the best team out of everybody, defense and offense, to compete and to win each and every game. Texans are rebuilding. Jaguars are rebuilding. Titans, you don't know what's going on with Tannehill. Malik Willis may even come in, during the season. The only reason why Tannehill's even in the, on the field is because he has the biggest cap hit of any quarterback at like $38-39 million. So when you look at all that, when you see what is kind of, a reflection of last year, seeing how close the Colts were to making the playoffs, winning the division, you kind of figure out like, okay, Matt Ryan is better than Carson Wentz. Now let's figure out how to, make those winning plays. And Matt Ryan, say what you want. He may not get, the accolades. He may not get like the running around, moving around and, making them a home sidearm throws, but he's a winning quarterback. He knows how to win games and he's going to, put the balls on the money when it matters. Those third down conversions, those fourth down conversions down the line where you need a first down just to end the game that Carson Wentz couldn't do. Mike Ryan's going to be able to do that for you. And it's going to alleviate pressure from Jonathan Taylor. AFC West. This is probably the hardest one of them all, I would say. And that's just only because of every team I think will make the playoffs in this division. I just do. I just don't think that these 4 teams are going to miss out on the playoffs unless it's horrible coaching by Brandon Staley of the Los Angeles Chargers. Last year, worst coaching I've seen on an NFL scale in a while. If Staley can get out of his own butt, out of his own rear end, then I think that the Chargers have a big chance to win the Super Bowl, like I said, and also to win the division easily. I think they can put up 12, 11, 13 wins. And I do think the Chiefs will struggle this year. I don't think they'll score as many points this year, but I do think their time of possession will increase. So the time of possession versus their opponent will increase. I think that their drives are going to be a lot longer. If you look at their preseason, most of their touchdown drives have been around 6-7 minutes. And I think that's what you're going to get from the Chiefs. And that's what you got from last year in the second half for the most part, but they couldn't hold on to, certain possessions at times because they were looking for the big play, because they're trying to get Tyreek Hill deep. Now they don't have that. And now Mahomes doesn't really have that added pressure in him to get, to hit that home run. He can get that 5-yard completion. Juju Smith gets it, takes it to, to get the first down to get, to get a 3rd and 12 conversion, right? They have that offense where they don't have to have a guy running 50 yards to get a touchdown on one play. They don't need that anymore. So with that being said, I think that we will get some high scoring games in this division. But the Broncos, excuse me, the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Los Angeles Raiders, the Chargers, all are good teams, and I think that they all four have the opportunity, I think, and a chance to win the league division this year. But with that being said, I do think that the Chargers are going to win the division. Raiders have an option to do it, but at the end of the day, are they going to be able to win the game when it matters? And I don't think that's the case. I just don't. With that being said, let's go on to the NFC. And we got four divisions, obviously. And I think that the NFC is going to be a lot more explosive and a lot more exciting to watch than the AFC, just because of the offenses that are in each division and the players that are in each division. With that being said, let's start with the NFC East. You guys already know that I feel as if the Eagles are going to win this division. Now, there's a team that has been getting a lot of action, and it's because they have one of the easiest schedules, second easiest schedule, rated by PFF of any team, and that's the New York Giants. They have Tony, they have Galladay, they have the Robinson kid from Kentucky, I believe. They have Daniel Jones, who is on a prove a year. Saquon Barkley, another prove it guy year. They have Kayvon Tibbs. They have a really strong offensive line with Evan Neal. And I think that the Giants do have an opportunity to compete, but I have no idea how their defense is going to play. I just don't. And that takes me away from even wanting to say that they'll win a division. I think the Eagles win this division. I think the Cowboys are going to be struggling this year a lot to convert downs, get a lot of reliable catching from the receivers. I think their offensive line struggles a lot this year. They're getting older. They're not as tough as they once were. I just don't see it. And the Commanders with Carson Wentz I just don't see Carson Wentz doing anything for that team. I think Taylor Heinicke will play at some point this season in terms of starting. I think Carson Wentz will get benched eventually. NFC North, Bears, Lions, Packers, and the Vikings. Yes. So Vikings. I think the Vikings are winning the division. I really do. I don't think that the Packers will be as good as they are. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers being, as good as he is, I don't think that people realize how good him playing will be. But at the end of the day, I do believe that Aaron Rodgers is a great and talented NFL quarterback, and he will. I repeat, Aaron Rodgers will be in games, and he will them to win this year, and he will get them to the playoffs this year. I have no doubt on that. I think the Packers make the playoffs this year. I just don't think they'll win a division. I think they lose probably in the second round of the playoffs. I just do. Lions, I don't think the Lions will be good this year. I know I said, previously that they'll be a good team, but after watching them on Hard Knocks, after watching them in the preseason games, they're just not a competitive team. They don't have a discipline, factor in them. And that's gonna be the trigger point. You're gonna see them lose a lot of close games this year. You are, but most of the time you're gonna see them get blown out. And then the Bears, I don't know why people are on the Bears. I just don't. I know they have a strong defense. I know they have a really good, defense of line. I know they have, a good secondary with leading Eddie, led by Eddie Jackson. I just don't think that they're going to be a 6-win team. Vegas has them at 6.5. I took the under at 6.5. I just don't think that this team is going to be competitive at all. I just don't. I don't like the way that they're factored. I just don't understand. I don't like the coaching. I don't like the fit. I don't like the quarterback in Chicago. It's just a lot of eel about it. I don't think the run game is going to be as good. I just don't. So NFC North winner for me is going to be the Vikings. NFC South would be, I think this is close, man, because I can see the Saints or the Buccaneers winning this, depending on the Bucks and their offensive line situation. I have the Buccaneers going over 11.5 games, but I am scared with that number just because winning 12 games in the NFL is tough. But at the end of the day, I looked at it like this. I can see them losing 5 games. I can't see them losing 6 games. And that's the reason why I put that bet in. And that's the reason why I think they're going to win the division. I think that they finally get a win this year over the Saints with Brady. I don't know if they'll sweep them right now, but I think they will get a win. I think they get 4 easy wins with the Falcons and the Panthers. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this division just because of their, Tom Brady and his resilience. And I can't bet against the man. I just can't. The Saints will eventually, I think. I don't know. It's tough. I think I can see them making the playoffs, but if I had to make a decision, I could put a gun in my head. I would say because how unreliable some of their offensive players are, and the pending charges with Kamara, not knowing if he's going to get suspended mid-season, you can't really bet again. You can't really bet on them that they'll make the playoffs this year. You just can't. So I'm going to say the Buccaneers win that division. And I don't think it's close. NFC West, the last division on my list, and you already know what team I'm going with. I'm going with the Niners. I think the Niners are going to be struggle this year. I really do think that they'll struggle this year. Like I said on the last podcast, I think they win like 9 to 11 games, but I think that's enough to win this division. This division is going to be close, tight. It's going to be a lot like the AFC West from the AFC side. And I just don't think that the Lions will fall short to the Rams and to the Cardinals and to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm watching for the Seahawks, right? You guys are, sleeping on my boy Drew Lock. I'm not. Drew Lock, if you start, I'm going to be on you, man. I'm going to get the Drew Lock jersey if you start and you start throwing some touchdown passes. All right? Because I know that you are ability to, you have the ability to be a franchise quarterback. I just don't know if you have the ability to be a franchise winning quarterback. I do know you're talented enough to be a starter in the NFL. Listen, if Baker Mayfield can start, I know you can start. That's just my analysis on Drew Lock. But enough with Drew. I think the Niners are going to be explosive this year once they figure everything out. But I do think they start off with a struggle point. I think they win like 3-3, 2-4. It's kind of like how they've been historically under Kyle Shanahan. Start off slow, finish strong. But I do think that will start off slow and the ability to finish strong in the division. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much all the divisions. So we got the Niners winning the NFC West. We got the Buccaneers winning the NFC South. Vikings winning NFC North. Eagles winning NFC East. Chargers winning AFC West. Colts winning AFC South. Ravens winning AFC North. And we got the Bills winning the AFC East. So I think it's definitely doable. For all of those possibilities to occur. Not all possibilities to happen. I just do. I hinder at some of those just because there's injuries, and also there's a guy like Aaron Rodgers who could literally will his team to 13 wins and win the division easily, like he did last year. So just a lot of decisions you got to make, and these are tough decisions. This is why I'm glad I don't get paid to do this and to predict these. And if I get them wrong, then I get fired. I'm glad that's not my job. I would assume that's some people's job. I don't know. Maybe those handicappers, maybe. But yeah, man. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I know I promised to have a guest on this week. I just couldn't get him on. I had something to do yesterday, and my brother's baby shower was yesterday as well. So a lot of busy things to do. Couldn't get it on the calendar, but hopefully we can get him on before the start of the season. But yeah, I'm out of here. Good luck to everybody. And see you guys next time.